in accessing public services by bringing together under the same roof several official institutions in charge of providing social services and public safety to the public. In the first quarter of 2030, the Ministry of Home Affairs will establish houses of justice in 10 communities in regions 2 and 3. In the inception phase, it is envisaged that staff from the General Register Office, the Guyana Police Force, the National Insurance Scheme, and community policing volunteers will be rendering services and advice to members of the communities where these facilities are located. The main beneficiaries will be individuals living in the following communities. In Regions 2, in Region 2, Good Hope, Underneming to Perseverance, Lima to Reliance, Charity, and Wakapau Village. At Region 3, Potentia, Canal Number 1, Klein Pudroy, Zila, and Perico. An advertisement for the recruitment of a coordinator for the House of Justice had been placed in the local media. Never in the history of our country and the security sector have such initiatives been undertaken. At a recent retreat with the Guyana Fire Service and the Ministry of Home Affairs, it was recommended that the Guyana Fire Service be rebranded the Guyana Fire and Rescue Service. This recommendation is currently before Cabinet for consideration. The proposed change of name from Guyana Fire Service to Guyana Fire and Rescue Service reflects a long-established function carried out by the Guyana Fire Service. I'd like to inform you that the strategic plans for the Guyana Police Force, the Guyana Prison Service, and the Ministry of Home Affairs will be posted on the website of the Ministry of Home Affairs with effect from the 31st of December 2012. It is important that these initiatives be supported by all Guyanese, including the opposition. The Ministry is of the view that a new preventative and proactive approach is required on the issue of domestic violence and child abuse. Such innovative measures must be introduced where others have failed. In this regard, the Ministry is of the view that an expanded physical presence on the ground for the purpose of information gathering and prevention could go a far way in preventing and reducing domestic violence and child abuse. An appropriate approach in our view would be a three-pronged approach. First would be to recruit a larger number of social workers who would be stationed at appropriate locations in each station of magisterial district or NDC. And second, increase the number of neighborhood police who patrol the neighborhoods 24/7, principally by day, since on the one hand, the Guyana Police Force do not have the numbers to patrol on foot in each village day and night, while on the other hand, members of community policing groups are active usually by night. The answer therefore lies in recruiting more neighborhood police. Advertisements will soon be placed in the local media inviting persons to apply to be members of the neighborhood police. In this regard, Cabinet has approved the recruitment of 100 neighborhood police ranks. The Ministry will work closely with the Ministry of Human Services in respect of the possible recruitment of an increased number of social workers. Soon, our first batch of traffic wardens will complete training and will be issued with kits to begin performing duties in the streets of Georgetown. Road users are asked to cooperate with the traffic wardens. Cabinet has approved the recruitment of 100 traffic wardens. Finally, but importantly, on the advice of the Ministry of Affairs, the Commissioner of Police has identified several police ranks at the level of cadets to be trained at the Art Williams and Harry Wynn Aeronautical Engineering School and the Guyana Defence Force, respectively. The objective being to establish an aeronautical branch of the Guyana Police Force. Strong possibilities now exist for the Guyana Police Force to own and operate its own aircraft. In addition, it was precisely in what I would describe as a preparatory and finalization period that work was done with a view to bringing to finality the reforms that were just announced. During that period, the Citizen Security Program was rolled out and successfully implemented, much to the satisfaction of the Inter-American Development Bank. Of the Citizen Security Program was undoubtedly the Community Action Component, which resulted in the training of 1,377 young people over a 2-year period in regions 4 and 6 at a cost of $1.1 million US. Training in 24 skills such as carpentry, mechanical engineering, computer technology, electrical installation, among others, took on a holistic dimension, with the courses being held with the very young people in anger management and violence prevention. To take the process forward to the ultimate objective, which is the establishment of safe neighborhoods, the Project Implementation Unit of the CSP is currently engaged in consultations with various communities where the young people were trained and where 30 community-based rapid impact projects were commissioned to have safe neighborhoods established. Moreover, during the period 2006 to 2011, a number of new institutional mechanisms were put in place at the Ministry of Home Affairs. These include the Task Force on Fuel Smuggling and Contraband, the Task Force on Narcotics and Illicit Weapons, the Task Force on Trafficking in Persons, as well as a number of new institutional arrangements at the Guyana Prison Service and the Guyana Fire Service. The Chedijagan International Airport Security Committee was established in December 2007, while the Security Monitoring Committee of the Ogle Airport was recently established only in January of this year. And a large number of community policing groups were either established, re-established, or strengthened. Currently, there are 252 community policing groups across the country with a membership of 3,402. It was on the basis of recommendation by the Task Force on Fuel Smuggling and Contraband that Cabinet agreed to the establishment of Charity, Parika, Etteringbang, and Ogle Regional Municipal Airport as official ports of entry, and the de-establishment of the Good Hope Police Station in Region 9 and the Omai airstrips as ports of entry. Moreover, the issue of submerged wharves, which allow for the entry and departure of small ocean-going vessels, came up for intense discussion at the task force in view of certain irregularities that have been occurring at these locations. And the regularization of the backtrack illegal points of entry and departure between Guyana and Nigeria, Suriname, will be a major focus of attention for the task force in 2030. Polygraphing of law enforcement officers was also introduced for the first time between 2006 and 2011. Above all, it must be noted that over 13 pieces of anti-crime legislation were passed during the 5-year period. As regards polygraphing of law enforcement officers, this year, 2012, 57 ranks were polygraphed for the first time. Of the 57, 40 failed the test. In early January 2013, 62 ranks are to be re-examined. The results of the 2012 test were submitted to the Defense Board for considerations. Directives were given on the course of action to be taken. The commissioning of 3 new and 18 remodeled police stations, along with 6 new police outposts, 2 remodeled police training colleges, and 2 computer laboratories, as well as the holding center at Sophia for juveniles, consumed much effort and energy on the part of the ministry during 2006 to 2011. The installation of traffic lights and the CCTV cameras in the city saw the ministry working in collaboration with the Office of the President and the Ministry of Public Works during the 2006 to 2011 period. These were major projects undertaken by the government to render more effective traffic control and to have greater technological oversight of city life for the purpose of safety and the protection of citizens. Further, determining and agreeing on the design, security features, the installation and other institutional arrangement for the new machine-readable passports, as well as setting up and implementing the new visa policies for foreign nationals desirous of entering Guyana, were matters that occupied the attention of the ministry for a considerable amount of time during that period. Only recently, Cabinet approved the sum of $2.1 million US for maintenance and provision of support services for the machine-readable passport issuing system, and for the border control system being upgraded with the installation of new hardware and software to record passport biometrics and the photographs of foreign nationals who arrive at CGIA and would wish to have a visa on arrival in accordance with any of the 4 categories of visas, namely student, visitor, employment, and business. Consequent to the establishment of the Firearm License Approval Board, the Ministry of Home Affairs, in collaboration with the board, embarked on a review of the application process for firearm licenses. To improve accountability and efficiency in the firearm license process. To date, a firearm license management system has been developed for the Guyana Police Force to support applications, maintenance, and renewal of firearm licenses by the Guyana Police Force. The firearm licensing management system will allow police divisions to electronically record firearm license applications. It uses an activity-based methodology to support the process from application to approval or rejection. In this regard, the ministry will have full access to this system. For persons who are unable to access the application form electronically, copies will be made available at police stations across the country. The ministry has noted the absence of a processing fee for the issuance of firearm licenses. To recoup costs for the resources expended in the processing application, Cabinet has approved the following. 1, the introduction of a non-refundable processing fee in the following amounts to recoup costs associated with the activities listed above, with immediate effect. $5,000 shotgun license for small-scale farmers, fishermen, small-scale Amerindian farmers, and loggers will be given priority. $20,000 for a handgun, a 9mm pistol, or a .2 pistol, or revolver. $25,000 for a rifle, and $30,000 for firearms ammunition dealers. There will be exemption from the payment of a fee, or exemption from the payment of a fee will be limited only to those persons who appeal the refusal of their application. Issuance of firearm license in a plastic form is to be mandatory for all licensees. Payment of the processing fee corresponding to the various categories of firearms by persons who were previously licensed and who will be required to obtain a plastic license. And payment of fees and submissions of applications at police stations, division headquarters, or police headquarters where an official receipt will be issued. In regards to the Guyana Prison Service, the construction and renovation of new blocks to house inmates at the prison locations, the rehabilitation of trade shops, and the increasing emphasis on correctional and rehabilitation measures at the Guyana Prison Service were not overlooked during the first 5 years of my tenure. The construction of 6 new fire stations at Linden, Bartica, Mahika, Unpawak, Rose Hall, and Diamond to service communities who hitherto never had such facilities, fully equipped with tenders and other necessary equipment, was a major undertaking by the ministry during the first 5-year period. The fire service, firefighting equipment operated by trained auxiliaries of the Guyana Fire Service have been installed at interior locations at Madia and Leyte, and will later be established at Kokwani, Mabaruma, and Port Kaituma. During the years 2006 to 2011 period, we initiated certain organizational leadership changes at the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit. Greater focus and a more robust, proactive approach was adopted by the new leadership of that organization. In the end, these changes bore fruits, so much so that we saw TANU scoring more and more successes in their fight against trafficking and possession of narcotics. An inception report which will help inform the consultative process and the design of a successor 2013-2018 National Drug Strategy Master Plan has been completed. The inception report will be sent to Cabinet shortly for consideration. Once approved, the Ministry will move swiftly to advance the consultative process with a view to completing the Master Plan within 6 months. In the meanwhile, the Ministry and law enforcement agencies are guided by those aspects of the current Master Plan which can be deemed as a work in progress, as well as the collective understandings reached at the level of the Central Intelligence Committee and the Task Force on Narcotics and Illicit Weapons. And the Ministry of Home Affairs 24/7 hotline was launched, resulting in heavy traffic with calls for assistance from members of the public. Over the past 5 years, the Ministry worked hard to build mutually beneficial. We attend numerous fora treated with transnational organized crime, trafficking in narcotics and firearms, just to mention a few. Representatives of the Ministry and law enforcement agencies were active participants at international events organized by UNASUR, the OAS, the UNODC, IMPACT, and CONSUL. By participating in these events, the Ministry of Home Affairs has gained a deeper and broader appreciation of regional, hemispheric, and global developments and trends in respect of the global fight against crime, trafficking in narcotics, and firearms, and the collective efforts that are required to cooperate in countering this criminal enterprise. Thus, the past 5 years of the Ministry of Home Affairs were very productive. A very productive period insofar as policy formulation, implementation, and fulfillment of its oversight role. The announcement just made should certainly not be a matter of too late is the cry. Rather, the cry should be better late than never. Ladies and gentlemen, the question may very well be asked, why so late with these very important reforms? And why these reforms were not brought to light in the 2006-2011 period of my tenure? I must point out that during that period, I spent most of my time and efforts acquainting myself with the sometimes complex institutional and organizational arrangements, as well as other critical aspects of the functioning of those agencies that fall under the purview of the Ministry of Home Affairs. I spent a lot of time traveling around the country to acquaint myself with the local conditions from a public safety and security perspective, and to listen to the views of the people on the ground. Having recognized that we were over the 2006-2011 period, so to speak, and are better prepared technically and institutionally, it became necessary for the ministry to approach Cabinet for the green light to embark on the path reflected in this presentation. The Ministry of Home Affairs is of the view that the leader of the opposition, Mr. David Granger, is committed to the same course to which the ministry is committed insofar as the security of our country and people is concerned. It is time that entrenched party politics and intractable positions are expunged from initiatives aimed at enhancing public safety and security. The Ministry of Home Affairs wants a constructive engagement with the parliamentary opposition. It must be an engagement that must be structured, sustainable, and all-embracing, with well-established reporting and accountable mechanisms worked out and approved by both sides. The Ministry of Home Affairs is prepared to bring to the Parliamentary Oversight Committee on the security sector the ministry is prepared to bring to this Parliamentary Oversight Committee on security for deliberations the strategic and implementation plans for the Ministry of Home Affairs, the Guyana Police Force, the Guyana Prison Service, as well as its projections for the 2013 budget for the Guyana Police Force.